guys, welcome back to another episode of Lights Out with Ish and Eve. I'm Ish and this is Eve, and we are here to talk about the Belgian Grand Prix.
Yeah.
It was an all in all pretty normal race up until...
Race.
Yeah.
Pretty normal race.
Yeah. And then it got interesting. But
Oh.
it was a good race. It was an exciting race. There were some good overtakes.
Yeah, it was nice.
But, of course, another race with more controversy.
Mm-hmm. It just does not stop.
No.
It doesn't stop.
The drama never ends.
I know. And we love the drama.
We do. Drive to Survive loves the drama.
Oh my god. They might have to make 2 seasons.
Honestly.
Or like double the amount of episodes.
Yeah.
Like we've already got more than enough for a whole season.
I know.
Like what?
And we're only at the summer break.
I know. Yeah. So good segue. We are halfway. We're over halfway through the season.
Yeah.
We're 14 races in, 10 to go. And a month off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know what we're going to do. But
Yeah. I mean,
I'm not going to
what
see you
do.
every
Yeah,
week.
I know.
A few news things that happened over the course of the weekend and before. Obviously the first one being Esti Besti being confirmed for Haas.
Thoughts and prayers to Ollie Behrman.
Yeah. Maybe, who knows? Maybe he'll really grow and blossom into a mature, helpful, guiding, wisdomous teammate.
Maybe. I saw someone talking about this on TikTok, and she was saying yes, he's been a bad teammate, but I just don't think he's been with the right person. And I was like, but how many people can you? It shouldn't be yes, Gasly's the wrong person.
Yeah.
Sure, but I don't think that that's a thing. A one-off that's bad and one off that's really good. Sure, but in general, it's not about having the perfect match. It's about not being a twat. There's a degree where it's okay, and he's not only had 1 or 2 teammates. He's had a few.
Yeah. And it's just
It's
at the
never
end...
gone well.
Well, exactly. And at the end of the day, you do have to be able to work with the people that you're around regardless.
Yeah, Carlos Sainz.
Yeah.
Carlos Sainz, I mean, obviously he plays the PR game really well, but also he just vibes with any teammate. He's just yep, we're in it together, and off we go.
Yeah.
But
anyways, we'll see how him and Ollie get on next year.
Yeah, we'll see how Carlos Sainz gets along with his new teammate. Where's he gonna go?
Oh, I was is there an announcement?
What do you know? No, I don't know shit. I know he's getting a new teammate.
Yeah.
Well, he is
Hopefully.
the new teammate. Oh, yeah, fuck.
But then the other bit of news was also in the Alpine hemisphere was Bruno Famine.
Oh my god, yeah.
Being announced to be stepping down.
Yeah.
And
that's the
rumours of them becoming a customer team as well.
Yeah. So
it's just chaos.
Yeah. So potentially Renault as a F1 supplier, because they're no longer a team, obviously.
Yeah.
Will no longer be affiliated with Formula One, which is crazy. They were talking about, and I think with an FP2, the amount of drivers, champions who have won in Renault-powered cars.
Yeah.
So many. So what they were saying was, what's going to happen is Alpine, I don't know if this is confirmed or not, but Alpine are going to use a Mercedes engine.
I think it's strongly rumoured.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's been
I don't know either.
confirmed yet.
But Mercedes currently wouldn't have the capacity for that, but Aston Martin are moving to Honda.
Yes.
So then Mercedes will then supply McLaren and Alpine.
Yes.
With their engines. So Alpine's damn, that engine kind of good.
Yeah, for real.
But
I don't know what it says about their road cars, but anyways, that's a whole separate story.
But then they were also saying that potentially the current high-tech principal is going to come in, the F2 high-tech team principal.
Interesting.
This is not confirmed. I forget his name as well. I should probably have Googled that. But
anyway.
The potential, that might happen.
Yeah.
And then they were saying, does that potentially mean that high-tech will take over Alpine?
Interesting.
Is that a move in that direction,
Yeah.
or is the team principal just moving up to F1?
Yeah.
Like, if Renault's going,
Yeah.
does that mean that High Tech is then going to take over Alpine? And obviously, High Tech have Paul Aron, who is a phenomenal F2 driver,
Yes.
sacked by Mercedes Academy.
Oh.
Yeah, and then he was like leaving the championship, and it was like kind of funny.
Damn.
He was in his revenge era, like
Yeah.
big time. And everyone's saying that he deserves an F1 seat, and he's probably not going to get one because he's not in an academy. So.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's the F2
Crazy.
storyline that's been going on for
Yeah.
a little while. But I don't know if he drives the High Tech. So
Well, the other thing as well is like Andretti wanted to bring a team into F1,
Yeah.
and he's probably looking at the Alpine chaos and is like, well, why was I denied when all of this is happening? And like,
yeah,
really?
Any-
Anyway,
like
I'd
rather.
be annoyed if I was him, but
Oh well,
I'm
we'll
not.
see.
So
We are far
that's
from
that.
him. Yeah.
Practice.
Yeah.
Do you have thoughts on practice?
Ocon barely got out for a fucking run in FP1.
That's true.
He did one lap, which
Yes.
was an out lap. And then he came in
Yes.
and had problems with his car.
Yes.
So he didn't run in FP1, which is no good for anyone.
No. No good for Ryan Reynolds trying to push his livery
That livery,
out.
not so much the livery, but the race suit. They looked like Ferrari.
They did.
Like, not so much the livery. Like, the livery was very much more black
Yes.
than the Ferrari.
Yeah.
But I
It looked
saw
like the Alfa
Gasly-
Romeo of last
Yeah,
year.
yeah. Like, I saw Gasly getting into his car, and the race suit was literally a Ferrari. I was like, whoa, okay.
I'm like, I just wanted to be in red too, you guys.
He's got to re-sign for this shit thing.
Daddy Rick had his like spin
Yeah.
in FP1, nearly hit the wall.
He
Thankfully,
was very
didn't.
lucky to not hit the wall, to be honest.
But yeah, one of the funniest things that I thought happened was in FP2 when Carlos was like, and they was like, oh, you're all alone out there. And Carlos was like, yeah, I'm so lonely.
Okay, Carlos.
Yeah.
That's
He didn't
funny.
have Lando to join
No,
him that time.
Lando. Albon got P3.
Yeah, that was crazy.
When they showed the graphic at the end of FP1, and it was just like his face, I was like, I've never seen this graphic before. I was like, this is new.
That's so funny. That's like that meme where I don't even remember what race it was from, but they were like, oh, they're testing the graphics
Oh my
at
God.
the track, and it was like race winner Logan
Logan.
Sargent. It was like, who's testing that graphic?
It's like, test a different graphic.
Yeah.
Like, come on. That's in the archives, that graphic.
Yeah.
It's in the bin already, actually. And but it's not like fully deleted. It's just in the bin.
It's like you can recover it if you really need it, but
Yeah.
it's gone. And then of course in FP3 when it started raining,
Yeah.
of course it was Lance.
I know.
It could have been anyone, but
yeah.
of course it was Lance Stroll. Like,
I know. I was thinking that. I was like, oh, it's been a while since you've had a bit of a whoopsie, isn't it?
I know.
But then I was like, I'm just a Stroll hater. So I was like, to be fair,
it
it
could
was
have been
going to be
anyone.
someone.
Yeah.
Like, someone was going to have a crash in those conditions.
Yeah.
100%. And it just happened to be him. Because Lando went off in the same spot, like,
Yeah.
just before, but he saved it.
Yeah.
And I was like,
And then the commentary of the go of the karting.
oh my God, that was so funny.
They were like, well,
They're
there are
proving
some
it's-
cards
Yeah.
out.
And they were like, well, they're just showing us that the track is not appropriate for driving.
There was like one kid that's
Yeah. I was like, oh.
I was like, oh, that poor kid that's just like, oh, I'm just going to go karting this weekend. And
Yeah.
then gets broadcast to millions of people.
Yeah, I mean,
Anyway.
can't tell who is, but
Yeah.
then the session restarted with 3 minutes to go.
Yeah, just so everyone could do their, like, practice starts and
Yeah,
stuff.
and then
It was
Carlos
like-
immediately went off the track.
Yeah. They were like, well,
Is
what was the
done
point?
now? Yeah. Quali. It was
Um,
wet, but not raining,
yeah.
but weird conditions.
It was weird conditions because there was, like, track evolution, even though it didn't seem like the track was really drying. Like, no one really ever had the discussion of, like, oh, should we put on slicks?
No.
Like, but the whole, like, all of quali was about, like, really who did their lap the last.
Yeah. And
Which
it
I
was-
guess the track dries a bit when you're just driving on it. And
yeah,
the heat
and the
of
racing
cars.
line appears. You can see it.
Yeah.
But, like, it's just that, like, having Spa be such a long lap
Yes.
makes it so much more difficult as well, because so much of the track was dry.
Yeah.
And then there was just wet spots. So it was like...
bizarre.
Yeah.
Yeah. But, yeah, like Q1, I remember, like, McLaren just being like, oh, yeah, the rain's coming. No.
Where? Go where?
Honestly. The main point I had for Q1, though, was just the fact that even though it was rain, and rain is meant to be, like, the thing that kind of equalizes everyone, Zhou and Logan Sargent still lined up at the back of the grid.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean,
come
we
on.
need some consistency in our lives. I did have a note from Q1 that, was it Q1? I think it was Q1. Oscar was P1 and Gasly was P2.
Yeah, that did happen.
What?
I know. Again, like, when it's wet, I feel like random stuff can just happen. But the Alpine was doing...
Alpine looked really quick.
Yeah, really well in quali.
Yeah.
And, like, Max was just, like, on fire all quali.
Oh, my God.
And, like, in Q1, he was just setting those times on, like, the same set of tyres the whole time.
Yeah.
Everyone else was in there changing tyres, and he was like, no.
He was like, I got a grid penalty.
Yeah. Crazy.
I got nothing to lose.
Yeah. Full send.
And then Logan impeded him.
Oh, yeah.
I loved him on the radio after that. Hello, what the fuck? And he'd, like, promised not to swear on the radio, but I feel like that's kind of different. Like, he wasn't swearing at the team in that circumstance. But, like, hello, what the fuck? Like, that's so funny. And, like, the commentary being like, ooh, yeah, maybe you don't impede Max Verstappen. Like, maybe don't impede anyone. Like, if you can avoid it.
I know.
They're like, honestly. Max is a little frightening, so...
Yeah, so don't do that.
No.
But then in Q2, Alex Albon stuck it on Q11?
Yeah.
P11? Not Q11.
Q11.
P11.
Imagine.
Whoa.
Yeah, imagine you have an individual qualifying session for every place.
Oh my God.
And then Perez scraped through to Q3 by 0.003 of a second.
I know. And, like, if you're Alex Albon, you'd just be... It's so hard with Spa because it's such a long track. 0.003 of a second, like, where are you making that up? You don't even know.
It's literally fucking nothing at all.
I know, it's nothing, like, at all anyways, but when the track is, like, double the length of some of the other tracks, my God, you're like, where do you even find that time?
Yeah. It kind of brings up a conversation that we've had previously about pre-existing penalties.
Yes.
Because Alex Albon misses out on Q3.
Yes.
By 0.003 of a second, really.
Yeah.
And then Perez puts it on P2. Yeah. And it's like, that's just the sort of thing that can happen if you do your good lap at the right time.
Yes.
And it's like, when we know Max has a penalty.
Yeah.
Like...
Yeah.
But I don't understand, I don't know what the fix is, because you can't just take Max out then, because, like, where does he start? You can't just assume he's going to get pole. And then, like...
Yeah, well, that's the thing. When it's, like, one of those crazy ones, like what Pierre had, or, like, what Yuki had this weekend, like, 60-place grid penalty, and you know there is, like, no shot that they're going to start anywhere other than last.
Yeah.
Then I feel like there's maybe a bit of an argument for it, but when it's something like this where they could start anywhere in the grid depending on where they actually qualify, I think there's nothing you can do. Like, tough. It sucks, but that just is what it is, you know?
But, yeah, like, the Perez then going fast, third fastest, which ended up being P2 after Max's penalty.
Yes.
I'm assuming people watching this will know what Max's penalty is for, but perhaps we should say, just in case.
Yeah, I guess.
So, you are allowed 4.
Dude, I actually don't even know the exact number.
Because he's using his fifth.
Yes, I think
4
that's right.
internal combustion engines over the course of a season.
Yes.
Max Verstappen's went bang in Canada. And so they prematurely had to bring in another one.
Yes.
And then they were seeing if they could fix the one that blew up in Canada.
Yes. And
they couldn't.
Yeah.
So instead of just cycling, like, those 4, however they would normally allocate it through the season, they've then had to take a 5th. Yes. And they've chosen to take it at Spa. Yes. Because it's easy to overtake on the track. So.
And also because Zandvoort is Max's home race after the summer break, and there's
That
no
will
shot
serve
they're
a 10
gonna.
place grid penalty in his home race. Yeah. So
So, long story short,
he had a 10 place grid penalty.
Yeah, overused their engine allocation
and had a 10 place grid penalty.
Yeah.
And it's exactly the same thing that happened last year.
Yes, it is.
At the same race.
I know. I think he's done it a couple years actually.
Yeah.
And that was part of why I predicted him to win because I was
Yeah.
like, well, he's done it before.
Yeah.
But yeah, so he had his 10 place grid penalty, but he was flying
He
in
was
Q3.
absolutely...
He was like, there is no way I'm starting any lower than P11.
No. And then Perez put in the lap of the year for him.
Yeah, for real.
Realistically. And I'm just like...
I know. I think I messaged you and I was like, he honestly may have saved the
His
rest of his
seat.
drive for the rest of
Yeah.
the year.
By that lap.
Yeah.
But... yeah, I was like, oh, piss off. I was like, you're this close to potentially losing your seat.
I know. But
And
then
it
we
is
got
what it
Charles
is.
on pole.
That was a great lap. Really good lap. I was kind of worried for him because all of the commentary were like, he's overdriving the car.
Yes.
And he has overdriven the car and gone off and ruined his lap
Yeah.
multiple times this year.
Yes.
Like, I think it's happened, like, especially over the last month or two. Like,
yeah.
a few times he's overdriven the car, gone off,
Yeah.
and started low.
Yeah.
But he didn't.
No. And he's a good qualifier and he reminded everyone of that fact.
He did.
So.
The commentary kept continuing to remind everyone that Carlos Sainz has out-qualified him, like, all the time recently.
Yeah.
He was like, well, Carlos Sainz, actually. Like, okay,
Okay.
they're both good drivers.
Let him have his moment.
Yeah.
I know. There's kind of like a theme in the race and in quali, but like the top 4 teams are clearly just in an absolute league of their own compared
There's
to...
such a gap.
Yeah.
Like,
And it was very evident this weekend from
Yeah.
the times it was set in quali
and in the race.
and in the race.
Like-
Like they just immediately separated themselves.
Yeah.
So,
But
Yeah.
McLaren weren't fucking anywhere in quali.
no.
I was
McLaren
like,
were
the
very
hell?
underwhelming. Which I'm like, oh, maybe they just like did their setup for the dry race and just
Stuck with it.
stuck with it and just hoped to...
Not do too bad.
Not
And they
do-
didn't do too bad.
No.
But, and it would have been better if Lando, sorry, I have rabbit hair on my face, didn't lose places off the motherfucking start.
Yeah.
Once again.
Once again, a terrible race start for Lando
Oh,
Norris.
like that was that. After he lost places at the
Totally.
start.
He admitted it
longer in
too.
it.
Like in
Yeah.
his post-race interview, he was like,
Yeah.
yeah, I lost it
At
in that
turn 1, yeah.
first corner when I went into the gravel.
But like, why? What's happening?
I know. I know.
Like, oh my god.
Bizarre.
Sorry, we skipped forward.
We did, but I don't really have anything else to say about quality, so we can
No.
keep talking about the race. If
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Charles had a pretty good start,
Yeah.
on the other hand, and lasted longer in P1 than I thought he
Yeah,
would.
yeah, he did.
I thought either Perez or Lewis
But
were going to get him, like,
Them fighting each other
yes, saved him.
helped. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Because that was a pretty good little tussle there for a little bit. But
Yes.
Lewis disposed him relatively quickly,
Yes.
all in all.
I
But
know.
yeah, that put Charles out into the lead, which was nice.
It was nice.
That like
Well, it
battling, yeah, at the start was really fun. Like Hamilton, Perez, and then Oscar and George as well.
Yes.
Like,
It was because
Oscar-
the whole pack stayed together for
oh
a
my
really
god,
long
yeah,
time.
I had a note of this, and they didn't fucking spread out
No.
even like that much at all.
No.
Like the front pack and then the back pack, but like
Yeah.
in between that, there was no. Usually in that front pack, there's like a few gaps of like
Gaps.
6-7 seconds
Yeah.
around and about the place, but
Yeah. The top 8 stayed relatively close together.
yeah,
A few laps in, poor Joe.
yeah.
Kind of retirement. Bro, I just... What do you do?
Like, how are you meant to get yourself a new drive
I know.
when he's
It's
unproven,
brutal.
like
Yeah.
in any car,
Totally.
but he can't prove himself
I know.
in that car.
I know. It sucks.
It does.
Yeah.
And Lewis into the lead
Yes.
eventually.
Yes.
I wasn't expecting Mercedes to be so strong.
Neither. Like, nothing in practice
Or
or
quali.
quali really suggested that they were going to have that kind of pace.
Yeah,
I
I was really surprised.
Yeah. No, it was kind of crazy.
Yeah.
I thought a really funny thing that happened was when Oscar like flew into his pit lane and like nearly took out his front jackman.
That guy was like, dude! He literally
like,
I know, but he did that.
I know.
He didn't fall over.
He really stopped that F1
He was
car.
like, he's gonna have a few abdomen bruises.
I know, well they cut to him after and he was like massaging out his neck.
Yeah,
I was like, bro got whiplash.
Yeah. Oh God, he was literally like, boom! And Oscar made a joke about it after too.
Yeah.
I can't remember what he said, but he said something about like not trying to kill his team or something like that.
Yeah.
I was like, ooh.
So funny.
Yeah.
Um,
Red Bull,
mhm.
not very good strategy. First of all, not saving a set of hard tires. Sorry, not saving 2 sets of hards
Yeah.
for the race.
Yeah.
Because the hard tire was clearly the
better
tire.
Yeah, for sure. I think Perez in particular,
Ooh.
terrible. You lined up P2. You finished P8 on track and inherited P7.
Yeah, and Helmut Marko was like slagging him off
Yeah.
and saying he did bad. And I'm like, yes, he did bad. It's also, they let him get undercut like multiple times.
Yeah, totally. It wasn't like...
And also like one of those places he gave to Max.
For sure.
Like, and that's obviously a thing that Red Bull knew. But like, yeah, maybe he didn't have the best race, but it's a better race than he's had in a while. And why is Helmut Marko slagging him off on the radio? Not on the radio, like in the media afterwards. What the fuck?
I feel like he just does that. That's
I know,
very,
but like, come on.
just Helmut Marko things.
Yeah, I know. I'm not Helmut Marko's biggest fan. Just shut up.
I kind of love it because it's like the old crazy man that just says stuff, you know?
Yeah, true.
But yeah, it's like, I don't know. He was like 21 seconds behind the lead with like a few laps to go. Like he was not
good. Competitive.
Yeah.
And like, obviously, he's not as good of a driver as Max. No one's ever fucking doubted that. And obviously the Red Bull isn't the car that it once was. So I'm like, don't they expect him to be there?
I don't know, because
Kind of.
I don't think there's anything saying that the Red Bull is not... I think it's like, yeah, okay, the McLaren's probably the fastest car, but the Red Bull technically should still be up there.
But the
And at the end of-
Mercedes has been...
For sure.
This, like, Mercedes and McLaren have been the 2 fastest cars for the past month.
Totally. Look, at the end of the day, I don't think it's a terrible drive. I just think it wasn't great. Like,
it
you
wasn't.
lost 5 positions. 6, technically.
True.
Because you inherited the 7th. So, you, like, when you're always doing these comeback drives and you're always, like, gaining places, now you actually get to start at the front and you go back.
Yeah.
Like,
But, like, the thing is, when he gains places, he gains to about there behind the cars that, like, overtook him. So I just think it's a quite accurate representation of where he's at.
yes.
Whatever that means.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Yeah.
But also Red Bull's strategy didn't help him.
No.
At all.
No.
But, anyways.
But anyway, Lando just, his car just was not it.
Well, yeah, what Oscar was saying makes sense. Like, that McLaren is so good in clean air.
Yes.
And obviously every car does well in clean air, but, like, as soon as Oscar got into the lead of the race, it was like, bang.
Boom, yeah.
So, obviously
Singer.
Lando stuck up Max's asshole for the whole race isn't going to help him in that dirty air.
Yeah. I think that was the main problem, for
Yeah,
sure.
but he only got behind Max because McLaren let him be undercut.
Yeah.
So that's the beef I have with McLaren's strategy this week.
This week. I know.
And then, yeah, George also had a successful undercut on Oscar. And Oscar was like, see ya. Like, immediately got back past him and was like... And then he kind of tore up the field a little bit. Oscar.
Yeah.
Got past Perez
He
as
did.
well.
He was looking very strong.
Yeah.
But the Mercedes were just a bit stronger.
But, yeah, I mean, when the second pit stop came around,
Yes.
if Oscar hadn't had a 4.5 second pit stop,
Yeah.
so that's like a 1.5 seconds too long in the pit box.
Yeah.
He finished 1.5 seconds behind the lead.
Yeah. I know. I mean, there's obviously, like, the extra time it would take to overtake and do all of that. Like, it's not...
But the thing is, if he hadn't had that stop, he wouldn't have come out behind Charles, and he lost a bunch of time trying to overtake Charles.
As in if he was doing a one-stop?
No. So when he came out from his second pit stop, Charles went past.
Yeah.
And undercut him, basically.
Oh, sure. So he wouldn't have had to waste time.
He wouldn't have had to waste.
Charles.
So yes, he would have lost time trying to overtake, but he already kind of lost that time. That if you were to compare the time you would lose on an overtake, he did spend that time.
He did the time to do one overtake.
Yeah.
Nah, I get you.
So that's kind of a little upsetting. Yeah. But it's his fault. He nearly killed his dude. So
he said, "Oh yeah, I got a break."
Yeah. Aston Martin also let Alonso be undercut by Ricciardo and Albon.
Yeah.
That's a fumble.
Yeah. Aston Martin really should be the 5th fastest team, but they just keep letting themselves get beaten by an RB, by a Haas, by an Alpine, when
always
they're performing.
Something. Yeah, it swaps who's beating them, but they're Aston Martin aren't consistently beating everyone else in the midfield.
No.
Because realistically, we have 4 top teams. Our midfield is basically everyone else, except for Sauber.
Yeah.
So
for real.
It's someone. It's always someone. They're very much a midfield team now, Aston Martin.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, they're not part of that top 4.
No.
But yeah, and then obviously we got to the end of the race, and I thought that the Mercedes battling each other was phenomenal.
I agree. That was crazy. George, we need to talk about George for a second.
Yes.
He was like, I'm a strategist. I am a strategist.
He was cooking.
He called so early on.
Yeah.
On that stint, he was like, 1 stop.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, 1 stop? You're going to go 3/4 of the race on this one set of tyres?
Yeah.
Yup. And what?
I know.
And I'm going to do it well.
Crazy.
So, obviously, I thought that it was interesting because of the team orders thing last week with McLaren.
Yes.
But I think a clear difference was the free to fight being George picked that strategy for himself.
Totally.
And George put himself in that position. It's not like McLaren where McLaren made the swapped it around. It was very much George got there. He called his own strategy.
Yeah.
Obviously, Mercedes could have overruled him if they'd wanted to.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was good. And Oscar just catching them and catching them
catching
them. He was so quick.
So quick. It was so down to the wire. It was just so much fun to watch.
And the next 3 too.
Yeah.
Charles, Max and Lando.
I know, watching them all come over the line.
Boom, boom, boom.
I know.
I was but Max catching up to the back of Charles, as soon as Max got within DRS of Charles, I was like, yeah. That's it for Lando. There's no way you can overtake him now.
Yeah.
If you couldn't get past him before, you can't get him when
he's got DRS. I know.
I was like, ah! As soon as he was within DRS.
And that is the crazy part, is that despite a 10-place grid penalty, Max Verstappen still increases his championship lead.
I know. But
bro,
I'm blaming that on Lando and McLaren,
I know.
to be honest.
Well, it is, because it's the door was wide open. Max was going to have a 10-place grid penalty. The door was wide open for you to, make good headway. And it did not happen.
Obviously only by 2 points, but 2 points is still 2 points. But then in the constructors, the gap is still closing.
Yes, it is.
Because with Oscar inheriting P2...
Yes.
A note that I had before George's unfortunate disqualification.
Mm-hmm.
So, I'm sure everyone's heard. George Russell won the race.
Mm-hmm.
And I put down, he won off his own merit.
Yes.
His own thing.
Yes.
He did that himself.
Yes.
Because obviously he won in Austria.
Yeah.
Max and Lando took each other out.
He inherited that win.
Yeah. I was like, he won off his own. And he was so happy.
I know.
And as he should be. He absolutely nailed it.
Yeah.
And then in the post-race, Parc Ferme, it was discovered that his car was 1.5 kilos under the minimum weight.
Yes.
Which is a lot.
Yeah. So, I think the information that's come out is basically that the thinking is that the rubber from his tires degraded so much doing that long stint.
He lost all of the...
That he lost, which is so heartbreaking because it's like, that's the reason you won.
Yeah, but
was choosing to do that one
I
stop.
know. What Christian Horner said, obviously he's not in Mercedes.
Yes.
But he said they miscalculated because if they were going to do a one stop, they would have put more fuel in the car to equal out the weight. So that when you lose that extra weight from tires, you
because it
out
was
with fuel.
Yeah, because it was kind of decided
on the fly.
But did you hear about the sort of conspiracy thing with it? Well, not so much conspiracy. Conspiracy is the wrong word. But like there is controversy in the sense of people think that Mercedes people think that Mercedes knew that the car was underweight before, like when they were going when the race finished, because when they first got the car weighed, Mercedes left like just enough fuel in it so that it came in like pretty much right on. It came in pretty much right on the like weight limit. Oh my god! And then the FIA realized that there was still, because you have to take all the fuel out of the car. The FIA realized there was still some fuel in the car, and they had to like get rid of it. And then it was underweight. Oh. And like Toto Wolff was very like stone faced after like when it happened, and like when they got the 1-2, like he was very like he like called Susie and was like happy, but like when the camera first cut him, he was very like animated. Yeah, like.
And it's their first 1-2 in 2 years. Yeah.
So there's a whole like theory that they probably kind of maybe knew that well, even if they knew that it would be a possibility.
It makes sense that they would know. Yeah. Because they know how much fuel they would have put in the car initially. Yeah. So it makes sense that they would be like,
maybe this might be a bit close. Touch and go, yeah.
But that's a lot. 1.5 kilos. But like, of course he's disqualified, of course. Totally. But it just sucks so much that it's from the win.
I know. Like if it just come like, 8th or 9th or 10th, like whatever.
Loses a few points, whatever.
It is what it is. But yeah, the fact that it was a race win is so brutal. I feel so bad for him.
I feel, and like he was so happy.
I know.
Oh my god.
Do you want to know the other like little 44 conspiracy?
Yeah, I saw this.
Yeah, how crazy is it? Yeah. So like for those who maybe haven't seen it, basically, obviously Lewis inherited the win and he is number 44. Driver number 44. The race was 44 laps. Oscar's long pit stop that stopped him from
inheriting the win.
Yeah, and like catching Mercedes.
P2 and then inheriting P1.
Was 4.4 seconds. Mm-hmm. And the document number that the FIA like issued when they announced that he was disqualified was document number 44.
It's Team LH had like a seance or something.
They really did. They were sitting in a circle praying.
Literally.
Crazy. Anyways, I just thought that was, when I saw that online, I was like,
that was,
I even had to verify. I like went and checked it because I was like, there's no way. Like even the document number, I went on the FIA website and looked. I was like, nah. And then,
Yeah, that's crazy. Something a little crazy. Obviously, we know McLaren and their consistency. Obviously, this weekend wasn't great for them, but wasn't that bad.
Yeah.
10th consecutive podium.
Wow.
For McLaren.
Wow. I mean, and it shows. It's actually kind of crazy that they're not closer to Red Bull or like even winning the constructors. But
I mean, it's only 40 points.
Yeah. It's close.
Like that could be 2 races.
Totally.
Depending on what happens.
Yeah. But wow.
Like 10th consecutive podium.
Yeah, that's crazy.
What?
That's, yeah.
That is crazy.
That's Max Verstappen 2023.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Except for race wins.
Yeah. He was on the top step. But anyway. Yeah. Another thing that happened was Danny Rick got a point.
Yes, he inherited the point from, I can't remember who was P9, but who was P10.
P10, yeah.
But I saw that, I was like, yeah. Because I was really upset because he was running in the points for most of the race and then finished P11. And I was like, no.
I know, but yeah. Little sneaky point for Danny Rick.
That.
And then did you see on the podium, Kimi Antonelli and Bono standing next to each other?
I was like, hello.
Because if he did go to Mercedes, which
He would
I
get
don't
Bono.
think that he will, but he could.
He would get Bono.
Yeah, Bono would probably be his race engineer.
Yeah. Because unless George wanted Bono, but you'd think George would keep the one he knows and
You'd
has
think so.
had for the last few years.
Yeah.
And that makes sense for Mercedes too,
Yeah.
to just start up a new pairing. But
Yeah.
um,
But I was like, ooh.
I know, I was like, ooh, we see you two out and about.
Did you have any other notes from the race?
No. Awards.
Awards.
Do you have a fact?
I do. I
also
remembered
have
to do one this,
one.
this
Yay.
time.
I also have one. I wonder if
Slay.
it's the same.
I have a couple, actually.
Oh, slay.
So my first one is that, and you might have seen this, but this stint of pole sitters not converting to race wins,
Yeah, this is what I have.
yeah, is the longest in like 14 years.
Yeah. It's now 6 races in a row
Yeah,
that haven't been won from pole.
yeah. And now, and an also funny like addition to that is that the last person who converted their pole position to a win was Charles Leclerc.
Yeah, I fucking know. That's not relevant. You just wanted to say that.
No, but it is relevant because his whole thing is like he never converts from pole. Like, and he was the last one to do it.
And it was Monaco.
Shocked. We don't have to include that's not relevant.
It is, because he probably wouldn't have won from pole.
No, it's not.
He would have bottled his pole again if it wasn't Monaco. I'm joking.
You shut your mouth.
I'm stirring the pot. I'm happy for Charles.
Yes. You better be.
I'm just being a bitch.
And then my other useless stat was that it is the closest top 3 finish. Without a safety car since 2016.
Wow.
It was 1.173 seconds.
Wow. In between the top 3.
Yeah.
She was close.
Yep. So that extra bit from Oscar.
It's so upsetting, and I can't even yell
You
at
give me
McLaren.
shit about my driver, I'll give you shit about yours.
Yeah, that's valid. I deserve that.
What was your useless stat?
It's the same.
Oh.
It's even more useless than it was before.
Apologies. Well, I'm glad I got to say it because you said I didn't have one last week and
That's true.
you said yours.
Dub.
Yeah, my biggest dub. My biggest dub was Charles for just having a really good, solid race and
Yeah, it's been a while.
inheriting a podium. And also Oscar.
Yeah.
They were my 2 biggest dubs. Sort of Lewis, but I feel like it was very much dampened. Because, like, yeah, you won the race, but you didn't.
Yeah.
And,
My
like, your
biggest dub
team
was
was
Lewis
very-
because of him just inheriting the race win.
Yeah.
Like, that's a dub. He's like, oh. It's less of a dub because it's from your teammate.
That's what
Like,
I mean. That's
yeah.
what, like, kind of knocked it off
It's a
for
little
me.
awkward.
Yeah.
But, like, for Mercedes, they still got 1. But
Totally.
Mercedes was my other dub because that's now 3 wins in the last 4 races for Mercedes.
Yeah, that is crazy.
Yeah.
Who would have thought?
Not me.
No.
And that's why they get a dub.
Fair. Mercedes were on my biggest L.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, really? Fucking no shit. Obviously. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, George and Mercedes were the top of my biggest L
Yeah,
list.
George is on mine.
Yeah.
But he took the L. Mercedes did that.
Yeah. So that they were at the top of he was at the top of my biggest
I
L
also
list.
had Oscar.
Yes. I had Oscar's front jackman for nearly
Yeah, that's
dying.
what I have as well. Like, McLaren Jackman on Oscar. Or Oscar on Jackman.
Yeah. And just show. Yeah. For
Also kind of
Obvious reasons.
Haas.
yeah.
They did not good.
No.
They were nowhere. Nico Hulkenberg finished last.
Did he?
Yeah.
Oh.
Of the cars that
even know.
finished.
Yeah, wow.
I didn't realise that until
That's
I was doing our
kinda crazy.
Instagram post. I was like, oh,
Yeah, wow.
that's no good from you.
No. Unexpected.
So those upgrades are not upgrades, they're downgrades.
Yeah, they did not slay. What was your silliest surprise?
I have a few.
Yes.
Perez and Quali.
Yeah.
First silly surprise.
Fair.
Wasn't expecting that. George doing a one-stop
Yeah.
was a big surprise.
Yeah.
And the last one, I wonder if you've seen this. Sauber did a 1.9 second pit stop. On Bottas.
Wow.
The second pit stop on Bottas.
Wow.
1.9.
That's insane.
They started the year doing 50-second pit stops.
Literally.
1.9.
That's
that
crazy.
matches Red Bull's best of the year.
Yeah.
So far.
That's a tenth off the record, which is McLaren last year, 1.8.
Yeah.
Wow.
I was
That's
like, go off.
crazy.
They
They really
that.
worked out their situation.
Yeah, well, they had to.
Yeah.
So they did good. So that was a silly surprise.
That is a silly surprise. My silly surprise was George doing the one stop, and then just the fact, not only doing the one stop, but making it work so well that Lewis and Oscar couldn't
get
catch
past
him
him.
at
Yeah.
the end.
Yeah.
Like, even when you would think that his tyres were absolutely shot.
Yeah, I was like, once Lewis gets there, he's going past.
Yeah, he did not.
This is the thing we also didn't talk about. Obviously, George won the race. Incredible one stop.
Yeah.
If he had had that extra weight,
I don't know that 1.5 kilos would have made that much of a difference at the end of the day. But, I mean, obviously, you don't know how much.
So close.
I know.
So I'm like, I don't know. Because you can be like, oh, poor George, like, he got screwed over from his race win. But I'm like, would he have got the race win if he had the extra weight? Probably. But they were right there.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I don't know how much extra fuel you would have to put in the car. So I don't know what the, like, equation of that would be.
No.
But, yeah, I can't see it making too much of a difference personally.
The only
but
thing
then
which makes me sad is
I'm
how
not an
close it
engineer.
was at the end.
Yeah,
That's
no, I do
the
get
thing
you.
that makes me like, maybe it
Maybe.
maybe that was the difference. And
Totally.
had it been the right weight, then we would have ended up here anyway.
Yeah.
Except
Who knows?
for George would have been in the top 3. Probably.
I
But
know.
anyway, just had to quickly mention that.
Yes. Do you have a biggest meme?
I have 2 memes.
Yes.
One is completely random.
Yes.
I was watching the AFL, as
Yes.
I do. And Collingwood playing Richmond,
Yes.
who are the worst team in the competition.
Don't tell
currently.
Oscar Piastri that.
I know. He's probably well aware. They're bad.
Oscar is not watching this podcast, so it's okay.
No, it's fine. And I will beef him about his AFL team. I don't give a fuck. Let's have at it. Like, it's a good discussion. I love beefing people about my AFL team. Because everyone hates my AFL team. So I'm used to it. But they're the worst. My team has been doing really, really bad recently. So I was like, if we fucking lose to these imbeciles. No, they actually just have a really long injury list. So they're basically playing like a B-level team. So they're really bad. But we didn't lose. But at halftime, they were like gassing up Oscar Piastri. They were like doing this whole spiel about Oscar.
Yeah.
Because like obviously he won the race last weekend.
Yeah.
And then they were like just talking about the F1. And they were like, oh yeah, and he lines up like 5th on the grid, you know, after inheriting. Like they were just fully yapping about it. And then they were like showing all this footage of Oscar in the Richmond, like, you know how they bring like the people.
Yeah.
And he's like Richmond jersey, but back when he like drove for Alpine, so like baby Oscar like kicking around in the Richmond club. And I was like, this is so random. I was like, what the hell? Like valid because he's just won a race and they're just like talking about it. But like I was just so
You're like,
I was not
worlds
expecting
collide.
that. Yeah, I wasn't expecting it. So that was kind of a meme. My
That
other
is
meme is the one that I sent to you.
Yes.
Perez when he needs to save his seat. It's a clip of like Michael Jordan just absolutely dunking the shit. Like just classic Michael Jordan clips.
Yeah.
Perez when he needs to save his seat. I thought that was so funny.
Just becomes absolutely goated.
Yeah, and then we'll like fall off again.
Yeah.
Like, not saying that Michael Jordan did that, but it's just like about
Yeah.
like ridiculous. I thought that was really funny.
That
So
is
that
very
was my
funny.
meme.
My meme was also an actual meme this week rather than just a funny thing that happened. You know that meme where it's like the bus crossing the train tracks and then the train just like steams through?
Yeah.
And it was just that, but it was like the bus crossing the train tracks was Oscar Piastri's Jackman and then just Oscar Piastri. Boom!
So simple yet so effective.
I was just scrolling through Instagram when I saw that and I was
It's like, oh. True though.
so that was my favourite.
That's a very literal one. I love it. Like it's so simple. Like that is exactly what happened.
It really is.
That's so funny. Best thing?
Yeah, favourite moment. My favourite moment was just right at the end when it was like the Mercedes are allowed to race each other. Oscar's going to hunt them down. It's going to come down to the last lap. Like, who is going to win?
Yeah. That was on my list, but I prepared a second one, which was Oscar's overtake on Charles.
Yes.
That was really good.
That was a good overtake.
I was a little nervous.
Yeah, I know. But they
Because
were both very respectful.
yeah, it was really good. Like they were wheel to wheel.
Yeah.
But they both, held their space, gave the other space.
Yeah.
Charles fought him as he should.
He didn't make it easy.
No, I know. And that's why it was so good. Like, and it wasn't on a straight, like there was corners involved. Like that was a really good overtake.
It was. I think like Martin Brundle said they didn't have to do anything silly.
No.
Or
they just kept it clean.
Yeah. It was very good.
Yeah.
Who was your driver of the day?
Well, the official driver of the day was Lewis.
Yes.
I think that's fair.
Yep. I agree with that.
had Oscar and George.
Yeah. No, I definitely agree with George. Like, just the phenomenal way you managed to do a one-stop. And also, I had Charles.
Standard.
But
no, yeah.
But, he had a great race.
Yeah.
Inherited a podium.
Yeah.
Great race.
And he needed one.
Yeah, and
Before the summer
realistically, the car probably shouldn't be there. It is kind of,
Yeah.
it really is the fourth fastest car at this point.
Yeah.
So to get a podium is
Good.
amazing.
Yeah. I had Oscar because he went from 5th to 2nd
True.
and had some great overtakes.
Fair.
And potentially could have won the race if he didn't nearly kill his person and have a long pit stop.
True. And also honourable mention to Danny Rick for getting his point.
Yay! I did have him on here and then I took him off because I was like, realistically, he didn't do that much.
Yeah. He got P11.
Yeah. I had him on there and I removed him, sorry. But, yeah.
Fair.
It's summer break.
I know. So we'll obviously film a bit of content and we'll keep, we'll have a podcast or two come out.
So stay tuned.
During the summer break.
We'll have a few episodes, but if you don't follow us, we'll be posting on TikTok and Instagram.
Yes.
As well.
For sure.
So follow us on there,
Yeah.
and we'll be posting a few episodes.
Yeah.
TBC. I don't know.
But anyway, hopefully all the drivers and teams have a nice break, especially the teams. I feel like very well deserved after all these double and triple headers.
Yeah.
So, and then we'll be back in Zandvoort at the end of August.
Max's home race.
Yes, the Sea of Orange is going to be crazy.
And I think he will win.
Yeah.
Shortly.
Yeah,
Sure. He's due a win.
He's due a win, and I think...
And it's his home race.
Yeah.
I think if he doesn't win,
there will be riots.
Someone's going to be knocked out.
Honestly.
Multiple Dutch people around the streets. But anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. I can't believe we're already at the summer break. And
I know.
We've already been doing this podcast for a few months.
This is
what?
our 6th episode. It's crazy.
What?
I know.
Slay. So thanks everyone for all your support.
Yeah.
If you're listening on the audio version, please leave us a review if you enjoyed it, as it does help us out. And if you're watching on YouTube, like and subscribe so you don't miss a video. And it helps us out. And leave a comment because we love your comments.
But anyways, I think that's it.
Yeah, slay. We will... Well, everyone have a good summer break.
Yeah, I mean, we'll be having a winter break.
Oh, yeah.
It's freezing.
Literally.
We'll be seeing all the, Instagram posts of the drivers on their boats.
I'm going to summer, but...
In Monaco. Oh. Cool. I'll enjoy my winter break. Everyone else enjoy their summer break.
I will not be on a boat in Monaco, though. Just to caveat that.
I would like to be on a boat in Monaco.
I would love to be on a boat in Monaco, most days.
Yeah.
Every day, actually.
I think a lot of my problems would be solved if I was on a boat in Monaco.
All of my, maybe not my financial problems.
I would be in severe financial
That's
distress.
what I mean. I would be in debt, but I'd be having fun.
Yeah.
Just find a rich man in Monaco. Problem solved. Okay, we need to end this episode. Yeah. Everyone have a nice break. We'll still be uploading content, so don't miss an episode. Yeah. But everyone have fun, stay safe, and we'll see you next time.
See you next time.